Last year in 2024, I reviewed a total of 41 watches on my channel, and if you go by these statistics, it seems like you guys really love Seiko and Casio. And that's fine, I'm a big fan of both Seiko and Casio as well, but I think there's a few micro brands that you guys might have missed. Take a quick look and let's get into it. Hey guys, this is Dave. Welcome back to my channel, Just the Watch, where I like to talk about affordable watches. As always, I am recording this from my home in Iwate, Japan. And today we're going to be looking back at the 5 most underrated watches that I reviewed in 2024. And we'll be determining this based on the view count of the videos. So to put things in perspective, the average number of views that a watch review got on my channel was around 46,000, which thank you so much for all of you who were watching. Also in 2024, my channel got up to about 160,000 subscribers, which again, thank you so much for subscribing. But I'm going to be bringing to your attention some watches that I think didn't get enough attention from you guys last year. Some of these videos got less than 10,000 views, which means that at least 150,000 of my subscribers didn't see the video. Now, these are not simply the 5 lowest viewed videos on my channel last year. I actually went through kind of the top 10, and I picked the 5 that I thought were actually good watches that I think you guys would be well worth checking out. And so that's a list that I want to show you today. Also worth noting, all of these watches that I'll be showing you were ones that were sent to me by brands for free, which is why you saw the paid promotions flag at the beginning of this video. However, none of them knew that they were going to be in this particular video and probably hoped that they wouldn't have to be. Let's get started with number 5 on the list, and this is a collaboration between Henry Archer and the Microbrand store. This is a malachite dial version of the Henry Archer Nordso. Back in early 2024, the Microbrand store decided to do a collaboration with Henry Archer, creating a malachite dial version of their popular Nordso diver. The Nordso is a perfectly sized 40mm dress diver that checks every conceivable box when it comes to specifications. It's built around the excellent Miyota 9039 Japanese automatic movement, has a sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance, excellent after dark lume performance, and is impressively thin at just under 11 millimeters thick. Henry Archer is based in Denmark, and this features a classic minimalist Nordic style design. It's very clean, very geometric, again, minimal without looking boring. And with their collaboration with the Microbrand store, they've taken this very simple design and combined it with a stunning natural stone malachite dial. Malachite has a striking striped pattern that goes through it, and a surprisingly bright green hue. And because this dial is made out of a natural stone, no 2 watches will be alike. This watch is available exclusively through the Microbrand store, and even though it was released about a year ago, it is actually still available now. I think one of the reasons this watch is kind of underrated is that a lot of people just didn't realize that it existed because it is a collaboration with a particular store. And its current sale price of $700 is about $100 more than what Henry Archer is charging direct from their site for the standard versions of the Nordso. But that's not really unexpected on a watch that features a stone dial like this. Whether you go with the malachite version from the Microbrand store or get one of the standard versions direct from Henry Archer, the Nordso is a very clean, stylish, easy-to-wear dive watch with great specifications and build quality, and is well worth checking out for anyone looking for a premium Microbrand dive watch. Next up at number 4, we have the Wise Adamascus 88 in a bronze case. This is maybe one of my favorite watches that I reviewed all year. I'm kind of a sucker for Wise's designs, and this bronze and green color scheme is just absolutely stunning. The original video got about 12,000 views, and I think it's worth taking another look. The Adamascus 88 is in the running for my favorite Microbrand dive watch. I think the 41mm case is absolutely fantastic with beautiful flowing lines and just a really cool design. Wise complements the excellent case with an interesting handset and a series of very unique dial options. The 88 is one of Wise's more premium dive watches, and so along with that, you get some excellent materials that are used and the best finishing that I've seen in any Microbrand watches under $1,000. The standard version of the 88 comes in 904L stainless steel, which is really cool because that's the same steel that Rolex uses, but the one that we're looking at today is a special version that they came out with in bronze that I think looks absolutely stunning. To complement the beautiful bronze color of the case, Wise opted for a dark forest green dial with a subtle fume effect that goes from a lighter shade of green in the center to a darker shade at the outer edges, combined with the gold-toned hands and markers, and a lume tone that manages to capture that old radium effect while not losing any brightness at all. This might be the most beautiful watch that I reviewed all year. It was originally sold at a release price of $690, and it didn't last long at that price. It is currently sold out on their site, and unfortunately Wise has said that they're not ever going to be making another bronze version of the AD8. However, Wise does have plenty of other versions of the AD8 available, all of which are worth checking out, again, in a similar price range to the Henry Archer that we just looked at. But Wise is coming out of Thailand, and as such, I feel like there's a lot more Asian design influences here. And while I was impressed with the quality of the Henry Archer Nordso, I think the Wise AD8 is a step above it. If your heart is set on the bronze version of this watch, make sure you're subscribed to my channel because I will be doing a sale for channel subscribers somewhat soon, and this will be one of the watches I'm going to be listing. The reason I'm not keeping this watch is because I also have the Wise ADX GMT, which is very similar to it, and I have a hard time wearing no-date watches. Coming in at number 3, we're going to be looking at another collaboration, this time between Wata Watches and Laco. This is Wata Watches' special edition of the Laco Augsburg, a very traditional, historic Flieger design. In this case, the video got about 15,000 views, but again, this is up there for one of my favorite watches of the whole year that I reviewed. Check it out. Laco is one of my favorite watch brands for a number of reasons. When it comes to German-made watches, they are incredibly affordable. They played an important part of watch history. I love their design aesthetic that draws heavily from their military heritage. And that heritage is very impressive given that they played an important role in military history as one of the original manufacturers of the Type A and Type B Flieger watches. Of the original manufacturers who made these watches for the German government, Laco is far and away the most affordable, which allows budget-conscious collectors the opportunity to get a truly historic piece for a pretty affordable price. Wata Watches, based in Korea, did a collaboration with Laco to create a really cool version of Laco's Type A and Type B Flieger watches, creating a design that looks very much like a vintage watch, but with excellent modern German manufacturing techniques and a relatively affordable $540 price tag. One of the coolest touches on these watches is the choice of going with a blacked out logo, making it all but invisible in most lighting situations. And yet when the light hits it at just the right angle, you can see that logo along with some of the other printed elements of the watch, which is such a cool effect because the original Type A and Type B Flieger watches were unbranded watches. Again, they were issued by the German government to their Air Force pilots. And by hiding the logo in this way, it gets you one step closer to what those original designs looked like. Surprisingly, at the time of this recording, it appears that Wata Watches has not yet sold out of these, despite there only being 60 of each version produced. So if you hurry, you can still snag one. Coming in at number 2, we're going to be looking at the Nadir Vespera. This was a very cool, very unique field watch design. There were a lot of interesting things going into this watch. I love the 12-hour internal bezel. It's got a lot going for it, but the video only got about 8,000 views, so give it another look. The Vespera from Nadir Watches is one of the most unique watches that I reviewed last year. I'm not sure what you would classify this watch as, whether it's a field watch or an adventure watch or a traveler's watch. It has a very unique, somewhat square case shape, a dual crown design with one of those crowns operating an inner rotating 12-hour bezel, which allows you to track a second time zone, and a dial that has a single stripe of color on the right side of it, which kind of gives it a bit of a motorsports vibe. Combine all this with the sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, and a solid Miyota 9039 automatic movement, and you've got a highly functional, very cool looking watch. Nadir is a micro brand based out of Poland, so there's not a lot of people that know about them. And there were so many new micro brands that launched in 2024, I think they just kind of got lost in the midst of it all. That said, I think the Vespera does stand out from the pack of micro brand watches that were released. And at $485 is something of a hidden gem in the micro brand world right now. If you're interested, you can still pick them up direct from Nadir on their website. Finally, coming in at number 1 on my list of most underrated watches of 2024 is the Vario 1918 Pilot's Watch. Again, one of my favorite watches of the year and one of the least viewed videos that I made, coming in at around 9,000 views. Give it another look. Vario creates some of the most stunning and interesting retro-inspired designs of any micro brand out there. Their watches tend to harken back to the early days of watchmaking, and rather than doing one-to-one carbon copies of watches from the early 1900s, they soak in the design language from that period and come up with something new and unique. Every time I look at a new watch from Vario, I get the feeling like I just discovered a watch from 100 years ago that somehow had been lost to time. And that's especially true with this 1918 Pilot's watch. It has so many unique elements that are familiar from this time period, such as the wire lugs or that vintage typeface and handset, or the really cool leather bun strap. All of these elements perfectly evoke timepieces from that period. And yet you'd be hard-pressed to find a single watch that you could point to as the sole design inspiration for this watch. Perhaps the most unique design aspect of this watch is its tilted dial. This was a dial layout that was popularized back in this period of history. It was meant to allow easy reading at a glance without having to turn your wrist perpendicular to your body, something that was typically thought to be useful for people who were driving cars. But in the same way, it would have been useful to pilots as well. And in addition to the fascinating historical elements of the design, Vario has built a very high quality, beautifully finished watch featuring a gorgeous saturated enamel dial and a beautiful skeletonized hand-wound Miyota movement that can be appreciated through the see-through case back on the back of the watch. I think one of the reasons this watch is underrated could be that people viewed it as a novelty watch, but to do so really does this watch a disservice. This is an extremely high quality and beautiful timepiece, and it is still available direct from Vario for $388. All right, that's going to wrap up the list for today. Let me know what you think the most underrated watch of 2024 was. Maybe it's one that I missed and I should pick up and show to you guys on a video here in the future. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I invite you to do so. And if you're interested in picking up a watch-themed t-shirt like this one here, you can get on my website at justthewatch.com. Thanks again for watching, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys a lot of great watches in 2025. Bye.